Hey everybody, welcome back to Old Dirty Gamers. You got Richard Stanley, Eric Burrell, and beautiful Terry Hodge coming back at you today. A lot of stuff going on today, more than you would think. A lot of exciting things to talk about. We all know about the PlayStation experience, Video Game Awards. We're going to talk a little about getting our asses reamed. But we're going to turn it right over to Terry. Beautiful Terry Hodge to talk about Terry's new hot release.
Thank you very much, Richard. So with, it being the holiday season, we're running into a bit of a slow period for games. We're not going to have too many AAA titles to talk about, but they still are releasing things right before Christmas for you to get for your friends and your family and yourself. So, yourself, because you want it for yourself, you selfish bastards. The first release we're going to talk about came out December 2nd. That would be The Crew for Xbox One. The Crew. PS4.
That's
PC.
the stuff you put in your hair, right?
It is. It's actually,
Crew.
that's how you get the Crew cut.
Isn't it the guy who's on the Allspice commercials?
No, that's Terry Crews.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah, that's what happens when I
Terry
play the game for
Crews.
too long. Eventually, I just
He
get
might
really
be in
ripped.
the game.
No,
He might.
if he was the driver, I would buy it.
Oh
Terry
my God.
Crews.
I don't like Terry Crews.
I like Terry Crews.
I don't like any.
And I run GlitchSlap. So we like Terry Crews.
I don't like you, Terry Crews.
He's just angry because you share a name. Don't worry
Exactly. I don't like anybody else named Terry. Ain't no thing like me but me.
We had fried chicken and waffles today, so you're like, we're all pumped today.
Yeah,
Solid
we are
fried
all
chicken.
pumped.
Let's talk about Crew a little bit. Crew is actually kind of like it's a Fast and Furious version of an MMO.
Mm-hmm.
You get a car, get a team together, upgrade stuff, spend money, spend points, whatever. Just like everything else, waste a bunch of time. Woo, MMOs.
Woo.
So,
Racing
Woo.
in MMOs.
Racing.
Racing.
would you say that if you played a lot of racing games that you might be a racist?
What if there was different racing games that, were at war with each other? Would that be a race war?
Maybe.
Would the highest selling racing game then be the Master Racing game?
Oh, Master Racing. Master Racing.
I think that's what GT is calling its
I mean,
next game. GT
definitely.
11 Master
Does Crew
Racing.
come out on PC?
Yes, it came out on
is
PC.
Is it PC Master Racing?
It is PC. Oh my God.
Okay.
PC Master Race. Moving right along to a release I'm very excited about. Also came out December 2nd. That is Kingdom Hearts 2.5 HD Remix. We're going to go to the video and look, enjoy. It's beautiful.
We're going to give it a couple of seconds, though, this time, because this is like the third time we tried to podcast in a row today. That's how much we love you. And
We
when the
love
video
you.
plays, after a while, I don't know if it's like the memory in the computer or something that glows off, but I do remember we had some beautiful comments about how this video game looked like it was going to be amazing, and then like the vagina came up, and we talked about vaginas and Sora, and
Vagina's come up a lot in our
they added a lot more
conversations.
new content.
It's kind of like a Groundhog's Day.
It is a little bit like Groundhog's Day.
I'm actually going to move
Was that a Disney property? They should throw
right
that
back
here, too.
off of that here.
We're going back to the main camera?
Yeah, I think so. But,
Okay.
I like Stitch, though, so we're going to...
Yep, there's new
Deal
bosses, there's new
Stitch and come
content,
back.
and it mixes in lots of things to make the story a bit more congruent. And of course, the HD graphics are going to look nice on your PlayStation. But Rich, you're not going to get the game?
I mean, I don't know. I've decided that I'm not sure that I want to get any more PS3 games because I have a tendency to buy a PS4, or like when I bought my wife got me a PSP Go one year for Christmas, which me and like 6 other people actually got as a result. But when she did that, I said, okay, I've been invested into the system, so I sold all my PSP games and only re-downloaded the ones that I could download onto the system itself because it didn't use cartridges.
Right.
I commit to something if I'm going to commit to it,
Okay.
and that's how I use my power to decide my purchasing power. It allows me to say, rather than try to think to myself, oh, am I going to make a great decision on what I'm going to buy? I just say, well, I bought a PS4, so if you don't bring it out the PS4, then I'm not going to buy it. That's how it is. So.
That makes a pretty decent amount of sense. I mean, when you get right down to it. But you may be in luck, from what I hear on the rumor mill on the interwebs, in the deep web, if you don't know about the deep web.
He knows
Oh
all
my
about
God.
the D.
I'm all up in the deep web. There may be re-releasing Kingdom Hearts 1.2 and 1.5 and 2.5.
1.2.
No,
And
1.5 and 2.5
Okay.
for your PS4 and possibly your Xbox One. So we'll see if they can make money
You
off
want
of it.
Kingdom Hearts up in your box? No? Are you?
I would
you
play
involved?
for Stitch,
Oh my God.
He's cool. I
Play
like
for Stitch. That sounds like a euphemism.
Like when he spits and the guns follow it, I thought that was pretty awesome. So I would like to play it.
All hipsters love Lilo and Stitch.
Dude, it's
Apparently. Kingdom Hearts is way more than Lilo. You can play the Tron
I
universe,
forget
you
about
can
the
play the
fact that
Nightmare
it
Before
exists.
Christmas.
The girls' trunks are so big in that movie.
Wow.
I don't know what that means.
Those were actually
Legs,
those were changed in the Kingdom Hearts version of the game.
I don't want to play that.
She's actually they're actually thicker than before. So.
Oh my God. It's getting even hotter.
Getting
Oh my
the
gosh.
vapors.
Oh my gosh, Eric Burrell,
Cartoon
ladies
love.
and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen. Anyways, I'm doing an article review on that and maybe a video depending on how the studio goes. We'll see how it goes. But there's going to be some content on the website for that. So we'll dig deeper on that. We'll dive in. We'll do all that good stuff for it on GlitchSlap.com.
Sounds good.
Let's see. Moving right ahead, we have a few more not so popular releases like Fantasy Hero Unsigned Legacy for PSN.
Unsigned like a rapper?
Yeah, it's unsigned. Seriously, that's what it says. Like unsigned legacy. Like we're running out of titles for fantasy games at this point.
Parappa the unsigned rapper.
Like
I mean,
they didn't want to call it
The
Final
Parappa
Fantasy.
mixtape.
They didn't want to call it Dragon Warrior. So they're like Fantasy
kick,
Hero.
punch, slice. No, fuck. Just punches and kicks.
But it's actually an action RPG. You should check it out if you're interested. It's not too expensive. I looked at some stuff on it. It's okay. Well, I'm not going to do a review for it or anything, but it's.
I mean, it's not really worth my time.
It's
but
not worth my time because I have to spend time playing other games to put up for AAA titles and things. And, you know, when you work with video games, you have less and less time to play them.
This is us contributing to the problem of indie studios not getting any exposure. So,
Pretty
hey,
much.
indie studios out there, send us an email, and we will totally go buy a copy and play it. But until then.
But until we get that email, no say.
Yep.
The next game that came out was on December 2nd. It's called Final Horizon. That's for PSN and PS4 because PS4 doesn't have any AAA titles to release, so they're just going to keep giving you downloadable content and not any AAA games because you can just play Modern Warfare or fuck you. That's how
You
they
can play fuck you.
But
Yeah.
we'll get in.
Flustercluck.
Yep.
Yeah, there you go. That's AAA. Fucking Flustercluck. I would.
PlayStation, yeah.
It's not even
No.
just PlayStation, it's
just-
all of them. Xbox
yeah.
doesn't have anything either.
Yeah,
all the
there's-
consoles are seriously like, it's like Republicans and Democrats right now. Like I used to choose a side, now they're all retarded.
Pretty much.
It's in a holding pattern. Why are they in a holding pattern?
Because it's Christmas. They don't
Because
you-
it's Christmas.
Because they don't want to. Well, I can talk about that later.
Yeah, we'll get into that.
Let's get through the
Let's
release.
get through the releases.
All right.
Our next release that actually looks kind of interesting and fun is called Secret Ponchos, and we do have a little clip for that. Let's roll.
Yeah,
let's
see
roll
if we can
that beautiful bean
see if-
footage.
That beautiful bean footage.
What? Never mind.
Switch Monkey.
Switchblade. For wood.
In the old west,
I
there was a
do-
guy
I do
who
wanna
was
play this.
wanted
I
dead
do kind of.
Really?
or dead.
You could make $5,000 in the old west, and that was a lot of money.
That's right.
Oh, man.
And you actually shoot at people in a little arena-style combat, and there's this dude. Yeah.
So it looks like it's multiplayer. Like, did you read
Oh
about
yeah,
this?
it's totally
Tell me
multiplayer,
about it a
local
little bit.
and online. And it
Local
has-
multiplayer, cool.
Yeah, local and online, and it's one of those games you controls with two analog sticks, one to control your character, one to control the direction they attack with some Western theme.
One direction to control your matador.
Yeah, and there's power-ups and things you get through time, and there's, if you can see at the top, there should be a timer and also a little skull moving in one direction or the other, whereas there's like a super move that you get for your side, depending on
Based on number of kills, like you get 5 or more kills.
a number of kills, and there's supposed to be like King of the Hill modes and other stuff, but I don't know if that's coming out with the game or that's going to be DLC. So there's a couple of different modes. I would check it out if you're interested in having some fun shooting your buddies and some spaghetti western style madness.
Yes.
I do not know if it goes up to 8 people online for 4-on-4. I know that you can do 2-on-2 for your home console. But
Cool.
I give it a look. I'm probably going to check it out in some spare time. We're running around together in our spare time. We actually get to play games, which is rarely.
Yeah,
So-
one of the things that I would tell you the glorious life of going into journalism about video games is you actually play less games doing this than you would because you spend more time writing about them than playing them. So-
Writing, researching, you have to know your stuff. You can't just, someone can't walk up to you and say, hey, you work for a video game website? Oh, yeah? Tell me about this video game. You're like, oh, never heard of it. Well, then your credibility is out the window. So we have
I
to
mean,
all
I do
admit-
that, but that's because I selectively pick things that suck and don't know about them. Like, let's see, what do we got? Like Siberia.
There you go.
Siberia, I have no idea what that is. I will read about
looked-
that right now.
I looked about it. At it. Or
Is it an
what's
indie?
on
Is it if it's an indie game? Of course you know.
It's
what
an
it is.
indie game. I
Okay,
looked
there.
at it. It's on
Go
the,
ahead, Eric. Tell us about Siberia. It's our next
Eric
release.
is the guy who's supposed to be writing our indie column, and currently is not writing a damn thing.
No. He wouldn't write down your number if you tried to give it to him, ladies.
I didn't play it. I thought about buying it. It was like $14 or something like that. I just looked at it. It looks like a puzzle, like a kind of Myst type Descendant, you know? A lot of weird locations, a lot of cyberpunk shit, and then walking around and doing stuff.
Cyberpunk.
Not cyberpunk, steampunk.
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 Okay.
Steampunk.
For those who don't know, Eric, would you tell us what steampunk is?
Jesus, I don't even know if I know what a good description of it. It's just using steam power instead of like electronics. So
Sherlock Holmes, the first movie.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's steampunk.
There you go. There you go.
I'm gonna get flamed for saying that because I've actually seen. No, it is not.
No, it's not. That's not steampunk.
I mean,
Steampunk
it's the
is
same relative tie, but it's a selection of the choice of Steam as a.
Not the one with Benedict Cumberbatch.
No.
No.
I mean, that would be interesting
Yeah.
if he like. Actually, if they did an episode where murder took place at the Benedict Cumberbatch one, wherever they went to a place that was steampunk.
That would be cool.
It would be cool for about 5 seconds until it turned into an episode of Supernatural.
It would be like,
would be
or
horrible.
Castle. Castle does that a lot too.
Or Castle.
Well, one of my favorite representations of steampunk is if you guys are into the animated films from Japan, sometimes called Japanime or anime, if you will. Is
I've never called it Japan, man.
Oh, some I know that most people really upset when they hear that. I was hoping someone in the internet would hear that and be like, he said Japanime, what a jerk.
Oh my god.
Like, unless there's like Ameripay and like
I only watch
United
Funimation,
Kingdom Pay, I think it's all from Japan. So.
Funimation.
There was an animated movie called Steam Boy. You guys seen that?
Steam Boy is
Oh,
the
man.
shit.
Steam Boy's cool, right?
You gotta like block out a whole afternoon to watch that movie.
It is.
It's like fucking 5
It is about
hours.
5.5 hours. Not really. Not really. It's 2.5. It's 2.5.
It feels
But it's a
like
lot of
5 hours.
storytelling. It's a lot of storytelling. Very drama. Not a
So
lot
it's
of action.
boring.
Um,
For something
No,
called
it's-
Steam Boy, where you're like the front's got this looks like a kid like riding a rocket. You're like, this is gonna be amazing.
and that probably is about 15 seconds of the movie.
There's a lot of build up and then
Yeah.
and then
Oh, the payoff.
and then a convention center gets up and starts walking around London. It's
Hey, come
fucking
on.
great.
There you go. Spoilers, ladies and gentlemen. Spoilers.
Jesus.
Eric,
So it was
Don't
directed
bring up the
by M. Night
climax.
Shyamalan.
Steam Boy has been out for like 12 years.
Yeah.
Go see
Go-
it.
So is Fooly Cooley, but Eric hasn't seen it. Eric Burrell hasn't seen Fooly Cooley, folks. He didn't see it. He doesn't know Furry Curry. He doesn't know Pata Pata.
Okay, I
He
would
doesn't
like.
know nothing.
I know he just said furry curry.
Yeah, they
It's
say
okay.
they say it in the show, though. It's a joke in the show.
Curry Curry.
They say it. It's part of a joke.
Harry Styles.
They
You
ask
know
all
what
the.
Foodie Cootie makes me want? Hottie Kitty. That's what
Oh
it
my
makes me want.
gosh.
I hate that show.
I love it.
Cell Saga, random stuff.
Random.
Well, for a guy that
How do
likes,
you not like Foodie Cootie?
Thank
That's
you.
what
I just haven't seen it yet.
Oh, okay.
I haven't
Well,
been.
you
I can't
should.
find it on somewhere where it's free.
You
Yes,
guys
he
should go
can.
make a fat afternoon of
you
it.
can watch it on AdultSwim.com, but he refuses to.
I forgot about that.
Yep, he's a jerk.
I'm
All right.
watching Korra
He has
on
kids.
Nickelodeon.
Whatever. Moving right along to our
Hey,
next.
that's got a video game.
It does,
Yeah,
yeah.
Cora's got a game.
Well,
Apparently, it's pretty decent.
I've heard it was okay. It was all right. It feels a little empty from what I've. Anyways.
Feels a little empty.
Yeah, like it's a. They put you in a city,
Like my
and there are like
relationships.
there are very few non-playable. You know what?
This is definitely the forum to talk
Very
about
few
Eric's
non-playable
relationships.
characters.
Let's talk about your relationship.
We were going to talk about new video games coming out.
I thought
but,
about
that's what
I
we're
thought
here to
about
do.
picking it up too. Just wasn't sure because I played the Burning Earth and whatever the other fucking games were for the original Avatar. And actually, a little fun fact, that has the easiest 3 full game achievements that
Sure.
you can get if you get all the.
Oh, isn't it
achievements
like
get,
you
a
played?
single-
Congratulations, kind of stuff.
It's kind of like
The
but all
completion
you have to do
bonus
is just
or-
press B a number of times, and then it'll go like you get the first achievement, you get the second one, you get the third one. You can do it literally in the first 5 minutes, and it's kind of a pain. It's bullshit. So that's what would kind of put me off from getting.
But don't you think maybe that was put in there because they figured kids are going to be playing the game, and so if you ask a kid to jump flip off of a cliff 16 times, spin dive, and land into a pool, it may not be a lot to get.
Lay on their belly for
Yeah.
5 hours. None of
Yeah.
your fans.
I would guess that's why it was like that.
I mean, well, some people take those achievements very seriously.
Completionist.
Completionists.
I love that guy. This guy who just does that.
Yeah, hey, I think if you can make a business out of OCD, you should do it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Some people take it very seriously, and that game didn't take achievements very seriously, and so that's what the contention is. And I'm always wary of like movie or TV show, cartoon tie-in games as well. You know, being garbage.
I used to be wary of comic tie-in games, and then Batman happened.
Finally.
My God.
What,
well, I mean,
what Batman games came out? I don't know if there are any good ones ever. Batman Forever for your Nintendo Entertainment System?
Yes.
Was that a
That
thing?
game was so bad.
For NES?
Super Nintendo.
Super
Oh,
Nintendo.
okay.
I'm sorry.
I was like, man, I can't imagine.
It was very
what it would look
photorealistic.
like. Was it really?
No,
Yeah.
it's a freaking terrible.
It was
game.
like the Godzilla game.
Gosh.
Godzilla 20,000 or whatever, 2000. What was that one where you play where it's like 2 modes and one of them's like a map and you have to move Godzilla through a map and then it's just.
That was on the Famicom, I believe.
Wasn't that your favorite game ever?
No, I fucking hated that game.
Yeah, because Eric loves
I hated
Godzilla.
that
Godzilla
game.
Lives or something?
Yeah, I'm like, what the fuck is even
Godzilla's
going
not
on
that
here?
cool.
And then Godzilla just walks around, he breaks through, and he didn't nothing understand.
All right, moving on. Let's stay on topic, Eric. I know how you feel about
Just move
Godzilla.
on.
He's gonna lose it over there.
He deserves so much better.
Our next hot release
He
is
did,
called
actually.
Game of Thrones. It's a Telltale game, episode 1 from them.
think we got a
We've got a
video
clip.
for that too, so we'll run on over
Let's
that clip and see if
go
we
to
can
the
do it
clip.
without killing anything off here. Telltale Games. Here we go.
Here we
Launch
go.
trailer.
Telltale Games presents.
What's interesting about this too is
Wiener, 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 got a
Oh,
wiener on
next to
the
wiener.
what's interesting about this is they base it off of the HBO show instead of taking liberties with the character models. They tried to do everything matching.
So
there.
hot.
And I believe even the voice actors for the game are
Everything I've heard so far.
the people who played.
Yeah.
I played through the episode 1. I'm gonna write about it very soon.
Yep,
He's
expect
gonna
a
actually write
review
something.
on GlitchSlap
GlitchSlap.com.
Reviews. Get ready
Look
for
out
it.
for it. Be surprised. Be amazed.
See it in the next couple days.
Awesome. Excellent. Looking forward to it. So, yeah, I mean,
Yeah, I'm
we can
pumped
go
on
through
it.
this whole thing, and it's really mostly, it looks like it's just MOVs mostly. So I don't know
Yeah.
if it actually is just a gameplay.
No, there's gonna be no gameplay.
Could you
That's
maybe
pretty
tell
much
me-
the gameplay right there.
Like you just watch and then it does its thing? Or
Well,
what?
it'll put you into conversation situations where Tyrion will say like, "Hey, you kind of pissed off my sister," and be like, "I didn't mean to, Lord. Yeah, she had it come and fuck that bitch or nothing," and then you pick something like, "Yeah, that's how I did it." And then the action scenes are mostly press sideways, very dungeon. Was it Dungeon Lair or Dragon's Lair?
Dragon Slayer.
Dragon Slayer.
Oh,
press
yeah.
press right, tap A, press Y. That's the extent.
Yeah,
of the
motion
action
button
in it, so.
movement things. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, most people
Okay.
don't find that very fun, so we'll see how well it does. I'd be interested to see how the sales go.
I hope Telltale keeps making games. I mean, from my experience, they've got a big following.
I'm a big fan. I love the company and everything that they do. It's very story-driven video games. So not really action, but there's a lot, and they give you a lot of choices in the game. So the choices affect how the game plays from then on. So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I enjoy a good storyline. We talked about that before. I wouldn't like Final Fantasy if that wasn't the case, but I was saying that stuff that doesn't have a lot of action, it doesn't tend to do as well unless they can really get out there. So we're doing our part, putting your name out there. Hopefully
Yep.
it's going to do well, so good luck with that.
Go for it, Telltale Games. We believe in you.
We believe in you.
Boom, boom, boom. All right, so there are a couple titles that we're just going to gloss over because they're really self-explanatory. We really don't need to have an in-depth conversation about this next one, okay?
Okay.
All right.
We just got told to shut up.
We did. Okay. The next release was for PSN. It's a PS1 classic, and the name of the game is Chess. PlayStation 1. It's now available. If you want to play chess
Thank God!
in the PlayStation 1 version.
Yes!
If you don't have a PC that already has chess on it for free.
Not like
Is,
Now-
is it Battle Chess?
No,
Yeah,
it's,
Battle
it's
Chess was
just
badass.
chess.
Oh, just chess!
It's
Yes!
chess. Mom and Dad,
Thank God!
for Christmas, if I don't get
It's the
just
most
chess,
popular game in the
I
world,
would have.
chess.
Oh my
I can't wait for the
I love
DLC
chess.
character, the Rook.
Oh my gosh. All right, so
The season.
the DLC
Oh.
is actually $29.99 per package. But I'm gonna move on because there's a PC game that came out that we're also not gonna know too much about.
It's called Backgammon.
It's called Dead State.
Dead State.
You can assume it's yet another zombie game.
Dead State.
Yeah, PC game. Came out December 4th.
Okay, hey, Dead State. More
Yeah.
stuff to go look up. I didn't get a clue. All right, sounds good. We should really start reading
good.
about every single one of these games before we talk about
Yeah,
it.
you want to have a conversation about every single one?
Well, I
No.
think maybe you could learn
No,
about
let's
them ahead
move
of
on.
time.
Dead
Okay.
State. I
I
can
can
guess
do
what
that.
it's about.
Really?
What?
Tell me. Regale me with your theories.
Could there possibly be zombies involved?
Okay, but that's a really easy.
Yeah.
What's more than zombies? What is Dead State? What do you think? Do you think Dead State?
I think of politics.
Yeah.
So I think of, I don't know, what if...
Like Red State, except they're dead. The dead Republicans.
Okay, so
Like the dead
what if it
presidents.
was a video game about you're like an intern and you're stuck in Congress, and then all of a sudden the whole world goes zombified and you have to shoot your way out of zombified Congress? Because I think that would be cathartic.
Thank you, Internet. According to the Internet, Dead State is a turn-based strategy RPG about surviving in a Midwestern state. You travel throughout the entire
Just
state.
surviving in the Midwestern state?
Hmm.
Are there,
It
is
is
there actually
hard.
zombies, or is it just
Oh, there's definitely
surviving
zombies.
in the
Oh,
Midwest?
there's zombies.
Okay.
I thought there was just Midwestern.
Yeah, I was
Sorry,
thinking just
I thought we all knew it was about zombies.
It's
so.
RTS about
I want to thank
being
the Internet
in
for that
Oklahoma.
one. Thank you very much, Internet. Came through.
I would kind of play that, though.
Much appreciated. So,
Oklahoma RTS.
RTS Oklahoma.
With zombies.
Get by. Well, in the interest of time, I'm gonna move right along and kind of touch on a AAA title, and then we'll go on to some more topics. If that's okay with you guys?
Oh, yeah.
Just in the interest of time.
I'm curious what the AAA title is, to be honest.
Well, the only one that really came out was Captain Toad Treasure Tracker for your Wii U. Toad, your faithful ally and who's been playable in a couple of games, finally gets his own adventure where he's out for treasure. People are saying it's a lot of fun. I've seen.
Is that literally the AAA title you're talking about?
Wait,
Yeah, dude. It's actually people are pretty pumped. It's a pretty good game.
You dropped that like that. Final
What
Fantasy
is it a
7
spin-off from?
What's up?
What is the spin-off from?
What do you mean? It's Toad.
Oh, Toad.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did see
Yeah,
that.
Captain Toad
I was
Treasure
like,
Tracker.
He
finally,
like looks
got
for
it.
fucking. Really? You were excited about that too?
Well, not excited, but I saw it and I was like, wait, Toad's getting his own video game?
Yeah, Toad, man.
Finally.
It's
Really?
I did.
I always felt like, even from Mario 2, that Toad was one of those people that they slapped in there because they couldn't think of anybody after the green one. They were like, we have Mario and Luigi because he's the green one.
Luigi.
And then, well, we're in the
Luigi.
Mushroom Kingdom, so let's take some random fucking mushroom people and we'll put those in there too. And then they sort of evolved it into something over time.
Well, you know, Toad is actually a knight of the Mushroom Army.
Oh my god.
He's Sir Toad of Totodile.
I've told you that.
No,
Toad-
he's
Toad-
not
I
a knight.
always
I just
played
made
as
that up.
Toad
He's not a
in
knight,
Mar-
internet.
in,
Don't
uh,
Wikipedia that.
Don't quote me.
I always played as Toad in Mario 2. He was the strongest.
Oh my
He could
God.
always pull up everything quickest. And he was like playing as Mario, but a little bit stronger.
Who's quicker?
Yeah.
He didn't jump as high. He was quicker.
I really don't
Ran
like
faster.
Mario 2.
I mean, I don't think anybody.
I love Mario 2. I think it's the so
I like-
cracked out.
I like the Japanese Mario 2, the appropriate Mario sequel, but it was a bit too difficult for you American gamers.
They did release that.
Was it
Oh,
Mario?
yeah, when they re-released it, yeah, the secret levels they called it or something.
Oh, okay.
Lost
Oh,
levels,
the,
something
the
like that.
Japanese Mario 2? That was
Yeah, the official.
basically Mario
Well, the
1.
other Mario
Yeah.
2 that we
Shit.
got was released in Japan. It wasn't like it wasn't released there.
You didn't like jumping on the eggs? And then
I
picking
thought
them
that
up
was
and
all
throwing them
weird
at that
and just
dude?
not fun.
It was Dreamland. It was supposed to be fucking weird. Like.
I never bothered to learn the music to it.
Alright, now I'm just gonna. Now I'm just
Thank
playing
you.
the game in my head.
Thank you. Oh my god.
Gotta go to the dark world. Find myself a mushroom like once every 2 levels.
Oh, dude. But when you
Terrible.
found one, it was
It
shit.
kind of made mushrooms. That game kind of made mushrooms all of a sudden, like you could get them everywhere in Mario, and then all of a sudden there was this like secret power up, and you didn't want to get hit. It turns it into this thing. You're like, I want to get hit by the things because I'm gonna lose my mushroom.
Give me the
God,
mushroom, baby. Come on.
Give me that mushroom tip. All right, Terry's not amused. Terry wants to move on.
I didn't like Mario 2, man. I just didn't like it. Didn't
Then
like
you're the
it.
person who should let's play it because you're the
Oh,
most
God.
like, I fucking
Yeah.
hate this. It'll be far more entertaining than me being like, I love my childhood.
I guess I could play it and also use my least favorite character while I play it the whole time.
Luigi?
Peach.
Toad.
Toad?
There
Oh,
you go.
man.
I mean, Luigi's my favorite character.
Nyaka.
Oh, that's why I'm glad he got his own game so we can get out of our memories from that horrible title. But yeah, we're gonna call it for the hot release right there. Next week we got a couple of.
Well, there's one more you were going to go over.
Was there? Did I skip one?
I'm just going to put it in there right now, which is the NES remix.
Oh yeah, that's right, the NES remix.
This
There's-
actually looks crazy sauce.
Oh, it does look super fun. It's for 3DS, the Ultimate version, and Wii U. And it's a kind of mix-up of old school games where you can like, okay, let's slap Samus in Mario. Let's have new challenges in the old Mario games. What is this? How does this work? It's so new. It's so fun. Golf.
There's golf on there?
There's golf in it.
I fucking
This
love
is
that
like
game.
taking your NES and just like putting it in a scrambler and coming out with a better version of your NES games.
Yeah, it's actually, I don't think you can, maybe you can play through them, I'm not sure. But I think the main point of the game is that it's a bunch of challenges. So it's
Right.
almost like Mario Party / Wario, what was that, WarioWare?
WarioWare?
WarioWare,
yeah, it's
where
like
you like
WarioWare.
do
Oh,
weird little
man.
challenges and things.
I might buy a DS
Oh,
so I
this
can play this.
this looks
It's-
like a
it
lot
looks
of fun.
Like a lot of fun. I might get it. Like of all the things that I was
Nobody
semi
cares
excited
Ice
about.
Climbers. Nobody.
Well,
I never played Ice Climbers.
Yeah, nobody did.
nobody did.
Well, I think it wasn't introduced to me very well. I mean, I played the Virtual Boy's version of Mario, but I never played Ice Climbers. So that'll tell you something.
Yep, I played Virtual Boy Mario and I never played Ice Climbers either.
That's a
I
little bit like
played it when
sticking
I
your
went over
face
to
into a
friend's
camera.
house.
But I can promise you, next week's hot release will have 0 AAA titles. So
Welcome to the lull.
We're going to have a lot of interesting factoids about each one of these little titles that comes out. It'll be fun, but don't expect a new Call of Duty, folks.
So, do we want to run through
What, some of the stuff we can look forward to for next week?
No. So we had the PlayStation Experience this weekend. We had the Video Game Awards. Did you have any of that stuff you want to go over queue over the Video Game Awards, or?
We can cover a little bit of the play. Well, what do you want to do? PlayStation first? I mean, a few things happened in the PlayStation Experience I think were important, like new video for Drake's Uncharted 4, so you can see some of the gameplay. For those of us who played Dark Souls, Bloodborne has been confirmed that it has co-op in it, which looks super fun, and a very interesting dynamic about the dungeons, whereas they are not always set. You can enter a dungeon and it'll change depending on the kind of character build that you have going in.
So you say that like Bloodborne is somehow related to Dark Souls too, like what?
Well, the same development studio, and it's got a very similar gameplay look when you look at it.
It'll be long and obnoxious.
Like you can, yeah.
Okay.
It's gonna be
Just
long
saying.
and obnoxious, just like me.
Super fucking hard.
I can't guarantee it'll be
Also
that
just
difficult.
like him.
Also just like me. Long, obnoxious, and very hard.
Hard. Make you rock hard.
Anyways, they also announced Metal Gear Online there, which looks pretty interesting.
Metal Gear.
Metal Gear.
All right, just
Why are you gonna laugh at Metal Gear Online being interesting?
I'm laughing because it doesn't exist. Metal Gear Online's part of Metal Gear 5. It's not even its own game.
It's a thing. It's a
It's
thing.
not really. Metal Gear Online was officially announced as being part of another game. It's the multiplayer form of another game that we're getting already.
And also
it's-
wasn't it the same way for Metal Gear Solid 4? Metal Gear Online came
Metal
out
Gear
with-
Online actually was its own deal for a while.
outside of 4 though?
Yeah.
Okay. But it had the same character models and everything.
Yeah. I mean, and I'm not saying it won't have some fun. I played Metal Gear Online for a little while. I mean,
Yep.
the
You ever
first
get
one-
Murphy'd in there?
I don't know what that means.
Okay. Metal Gear Solid Online is a third-person online game where you have squads and you hide out using Metal Gear stealth tactics and then run and shoot each other when you get the chance, similar to many other multiplayer shooter games. But this one,
I actually had much higher hopes for it than when I played it.
Yes,
It turned out to just ended up just like fucking Call of Duty.
yeah, it was just Call of Duty based, but with the stealth aspect being added in a little bit. Getting Murphy'd is something I experienced when I played it for quite some time. I started to enjoy it, and you have the stun shotgun, which doesn't kill you.
No.
So somebody caught me, and the stun shotgun man went down, and they drugged me back into their base, and everyone went into the base to change their weapons, as you have to, and they all switched to stun shotguns. And they'd let me, like, about to get up, and then they'd shoot me some more. And I get about to get up, and they'd shoot me some more. Then they all switched
So,
to...
Why is it called Murphy?
The Murphy is the name of the officer from RoboCop 1 who got shot by a bunch
Oh
of
my
dudes.
god!
Yeah, do you guys remember that scene? So they do that to you, but you don't die for a very long time. It's like,
That's fucking
You get
amazing.
Murphy. I can't believe you guys never got Murphy. I got Murphy. Somebody sent
Wow!
Somebody sent me a message afterwards
Video
and saying,
gamers
"Hey,
really are some of the most vile people on the planet.
Sadistic.
Like, so
I thought it was
Jesus.
like sexual violence. Or
No,
something
man,
like
get
that,
You
it-
would
man.
think that.
I
You
mean,
would.
it sounds
would.
like they drugged me
Sounds
back
like
to
a
their
roofie.
base, and then they all got their stun shotguns.
Guns out.
They went to town on
And one
me.
guy wouldn't stop laughing the whole time, baby. I got my stun shotgun out on Slug, baby. She was sweet. So I just watched that movie like last week.
Hold him in the back.
ass to ass. Yes.
So as long as you can still Murphy people, I'm gonna play it. I'm a Murphy somebody.
Oh my god.
He's been holding out that desire to Murphy people for a while.
And then of course at the end, the dad from that 70s show will roll up and pull out the one handgun and shoot you right in the head.
I hope
Game
so.
over.
Man.
Boom.
For a
Murphy.
little bit.
What else they announced? They showed a little bit of gameplay from the new Zelda game that's coming out. I mean, I don't...
It's open world? Is that what they're doing?
Yeah, it's...
What do you feel
Man.
about that? How do you feel? Tell me how you feel.
Yeah, open world, like, open world isn't really my thing. Like, a lot of people like that, but I don't really have the need to turn something like Zelda into a sandbox. Like, I feel like the best parts of Zelda are that it's for different generations of people, and it's getting so big and so expansive. The video, actually, the whole point of the video was Link gets on Epona and rides to the other side of the zone, and the video is like 8 minutes long. So it takes 8 straight minutes of being on a horse to get somewhere. And they're like, man, this is so cool because it's so big. And I'm like, man, I hope that there's a warp whistle or some shit because that would be annoying.
Wind Waker was kind of
How did I know he was going to bring
Yeah,
up
but Wind Waker, at some point you could actually auto move.
Yeah.
Like when you got somewhere and you wanted to get to an island, you could be like, and it would just take you to the island. And the second, I hated that about Wind Waker. Like I love the game, but just being like, I'm gonna pick a direction and go. I used to get up and make sandwiches and shit and come back, and I was like, what a waste of time.
I'm not gonna lie, I did the exact same thing. I'd be like, all right, hot pocket. I'm like,
Did you
Yeah,
ever
there
get to a
wasn't-
point where the wind was going in the wrong direction, you wanted to go that way, but you're like, fuck it, I don't want to pull it out, so you just start doing this?
Yep.
I did that too. Okay.
Yeah.
I just don't. I mean, I didn't get the HD remix of it because I thought back to myself and was like, do I want to play this again? And I was like, no.
Well, they made it much
Oh.
faster and stuff like that.
Did they?
Oh yeah, they changed a bunch of things.
I saw it at E3 last year and I was like, oh, that's great, guys.
You
Keep
gotta watch a
remaking
detailed
stuff.
video about it to explain all the
And there
little
was new
changes.
dungeons and stuff too.
And the way some items work way better.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
the grappling
maybe.
hook works way better. You can just
Yeah.
like change it mid-flight and whatnot, and turn with it way easier.
It's for Wii though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I mean, I guess I could totally play it, but that's
I'll-
one of the
I'll-
problems I have with the Wii U is they're like, you can totally play a Wii, but to do it, you have to go into a Wii emulator on the Wii U because we didn't want to just make it so you could just put the game in and play it.
Unlike the last one, sorry.
So, you just put the GameCube game in and it works?
Yeah, you can
Yeah.
put a GameCube game in a Wii, it'll work.
Yeah.
That was a good decision. Thank you
Yeah.
for backwards compatibility.
But
That's
every
another
time,
conversation, though.
It was like, I have this Wii
Yeah.
game I want to play. Go over here, load this thing, wait for it to load, go in there, find it, click on it, and I was like, this is freaking annoying. Same thing happened with the Wii U shop. Like, all the stuff that you bought in the Wii shop, if you wanted to play, you can technically play them on your Wii U, but you had to load the emulator and go in and open the Wii shop, and you couldn't just... And also, in the new Nintendo eShop, when you go to buy the same games, you had to buy them again.
Ooh. With like more currency or just
Yeah, you had
re-download
to...
them?
I could buy Legend of Zelda for NES and have it for the Wii
Mm-hmm.
on the Wii emulator, and then I could go into the Nintendo eShop and I'd have to buy it again if I didn't want to have to play it via that menu.
That's really...
It's super questionable.
Yeah, the
And
Wii
that
needs
leads
to
into
look at
something
their
else.
operating system a little bit, make things a little bit more
Well,
accessible.
I think that they're just like, well, we'll leave it this way, and if people want to, they can suck my dick. Pretty much like
That's-
Nintendo, biatch.
Yep,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
another conversation. Though.
Um,
Was there anything else with PlayStation you want to touch on?
I mean, I can't really. It's funny because that was the Video Game Awards. That wasn't even the PlayStation experience.
I'm
PlayStation
sorry.
experience was mostly. It was like a really, from what I watched, and those of you who are watching it on Twitch, like
I
it was
watched
like
it.
a really it still might even still be going on. It's a really watered down version of E3. Like
Mhm.
there was booths. It was the same booths people brought from before. They had some content from stuff that was coming out and had already come out. Like they spent like an hour talking about the evolution of God of War and then didn't announce. I don't think they announced
Nope.
the new God of
I
War.
watched that whole panel and there was no
And I was just like,
announcement for a new game.
that's great. Like, I guess if I really loved God of War, and I was like, yes, please talk more. And then I saw somebody, they did that thing about Little Big Planet 3, which you like.
Yes,
Little
I love
Planet.
Big Planet. Yes, I do.
And they went into it and talked about it, and I was like, okay, like that's fine too, I guess. But there wasn't really nothing shocked me this weekend. Like even everything that they showed me, I was like, I knew it was happening already, and I felt like it was kind of a lost opportunity. The only thing Assassin's Creed Victory, I think, was something that they announced, but that was like about it.
I think so. I think that was really like about it. As far as new announcements, no.
Yeah.
It's more like a sneak peek and celebrating the 20 years of PlayStation. Really, a lot of that. A lot of congratulations to us for making it this far with our console and with the
Patting
games.
their backs.
Yeah, a lot of
Yeah, there was a lot of
dick
back
holding
pedal.
and
Yeah.
we did so great. And here's another PlayStation 4. Please look forward to it. It's got gray.
They announced
Yep.
Final Fantasy VII.
All right. So I don't know about the rest of it. We talked about this already.
But I don't know nothing about that.
Yeah, no. Okay, so yeah, they did announce that they were doing I don't even know if you qualified as an HD remake as much as that they just like they stretched it out a little bit and then like an old vagina and then put it on fucking PlayStation 4. And I was like, man, stop it. So stop it. And actually, honestly, that's a pretty good segue into what we were going to talk about this week, I think, because we keep almost touching back to it a little bit, which is, the name of the game this week is how we're taking it in the ass, really, from video game companies, I kind of feel like, and most people don't even realize it. And I hate to use this group as a reference, but a couple of the articles that I read on this topic actually did come from some people who associated with Gamergate, so I apologize for that up front, but when they were actually making some little bit of sense that didn't have to do with sexuality, it had mostly to do with the whole idea that we live in this cycle now where big name video game studios pretty much own who we are and can control our sales cycle, and it doesn't matter what we do even if we don't like something, we don't really even have a way of sincerely getting together and showing them we don't like it, so that they didn't give a shit about what we want from them in terms of sales and in terms of level of quality. I don't know. I think you've got some probably initial thoughts on that already before me digging too much more into it.
Well, just mostly what I watched about the Final Fantasy VII, about that whole conference there. You know what they said. Everybody's been clamoring for a Final Fantasy.
Everybody remake
For
of 7 for
years.
Keep making everything else.
Years
better.
and years and years. What was it, like 2 or 3 years ago? They remade the intro sequence in high, like updated
Yeah, they did like
as
a
a
tech
PS4
demo.
tech demo.
Tech demo.
Everybody fucking lost their minds. They were ready for. They were like, "Is this going to be the final announcement?" No, we just wanted to show you what it could do, and everybody kind of went crazy about it. I watched the video of the reveal, and when they lead up to it, they're like, "Okay, we're gonna bring something that's going to be a PS4 exclusive," and then they show the Final Fantasy VII. Everybody goes crazy in the audience, and then they show the video, and the video was just the PC version with higher resolution. And that was it. It was the same fucking game from how many years ago?
And I think we were all waiting
Almost
for this,
20 years.
the other
Almost
shoe
20
to
years.
drop.
17 years right now.
Yeah. And everybody, like you said, you were watching it. I did the same thing where I'm like, okay, well, are they going to show something else here? Or like, then they're going to show like the old scene and then the new scene. No, and then they ended and he was like, hey, here you go. Fuck you.
I actually didn't even think they were releasing it for PS4. After they kept going on and it didn't say anything about actually being a re-release. I was like, okay, so they're just doing more of that like same thing they've been doing pretty much all weekend, which is like, here's something that was great from PlayStation and we're gonna remember it. And I was like, all right. And then at the end of it, they were like, no, on PS4 or soon to be on PS4. And I was like, what? That didn't even make any damn sense. Like, who cares? I can get it on PS4 right now. You can get it on PS4 right now. Actually,
Right
you can't. Actually, that's not true. You can't play PS1 games on PS4.
Even through the PSN downloadable classics.
I correct
Wow.
myself. Half the reason why I have a PS Vita is because the PS Vita plays all those games. So what I like to call my Square Station
Right.
is basically my PSP Vita with every single Square Enix game on it, because I can play it through that, but I can't play it through the PS4.
Unbelievable.
But I mean,
So
you could
now
go out and buy
you
like
can.
an old PS1 and
You
still
could.
play it the same way.
You
for
could.
Fucking
I
wait.
still
Or
have
at this
the-
point, emulate that fucker.
I still have the
Or
disc.
emulate it.
Play it on
You
PC
could
or
probably
something.
play it through some website or something like
Like
that.
they were thinking,
stream.
they were sitting around thinking to themselves, "There's a group of people who now have PS4s and don't have access to Final Fantasy VII in its original and semi-untouched, perfect format."
Yep.
Where
You know what? In a way, they're like the anti-George Lucas. Like they just don't
Yeah,
want
right.
to fucking change it. They
I was just
refuse
thinking.
to change it from the way what. No, this was the perfect. This was the
Sephiroth
perfect
sliced
form.
first.
This was Cell final form.
Ultimately,
And here
what
you
it's
go.
saying from the company is, we don't care
Shit.
about what the consumer demand is. We're going to make what we want to make, and you're going to buy it from us because we are the sole source of your childhood obsession with Japanese RPGs and saving the world. We own Final Fantasy. We'll say what we do with it, and you're going to buy it one way or the other. Until people are like, I'm not buying it, then they're not. And even if you didn't buy it, their sales haven't been that great lately. They apparently just don't give two shits.
That's the weird thing we were talking about before about video games being art or not art. I feel like if you want to make the entire argument that video games are art, then I understand the whole go fuck yourself mentality, because it's my painting. I want it to come out this way, and I'm not going to remake it unless it's perfect. But we know that's bullshit, because all the other things that they do recently, which I guess lead into now,
Right.
is some of the sales tactics they've started to use are not an art approached form. Things like pre-order gifts, things like early beta access, free quote unquote free DLC. These are all things that started out innocently enough, that I want people to be able to try out my game first and see if they like it, or we want people to put a couple of dollars down ahead of time. But as we've gotten into the fact that most games can be purchased online now, and more people are just buying their games and not getting them from the disc stores, we talked about GameStop.
Yeah.
There's no incentive for you to buy ahead of time because you can get it right away anyway. You can download it. So instead, they're coming up with ways to purposefully make us pay for games $49.99, fully pay for a game up ahead of time that is non-refundable.
Yep.
So if you buy, I actually waited this time. I did it. I still don't own Assassin's Creed Unity, which people who don't know me, I bought every single Assassin's Creed game except Liberation, and it's not a race thing. I swear.
Nope, he just doesn't like coons. That's not a race thing.
No, actually, I want to buy it now because I think it's been re-released for PS4.
Now that it's easier for you to get, now you know. No,
Yeah, I mean, I also didn't have a Vita at that time.
that's a lie.
It's a good business decision. Like.
But
Calvin
anyway,
Candy.
so when it comes to Unity, I actually waited to buy it because I was like, there's been a couple of things I wasn't so sure about. And lo and behold, it came out, and I'm the only person still got my $50 and not laughing about the fact that facers are going, raw. They just don't care anymore.
They really
It's
don't.
all about how much money they can pull out of you ahead of time. And the attitudes from them, too, is that I can tell when they're in board meetings, and I hope it's not this way, but they sit around and they say, basically, I'm Nintendo, I own Mario, I own Zelda, I own Samus, I own your fucking childhood, and if you want to have any more experience of that, you're going to do what I say. If I make a shitty fucking game, you're going to buy it anyway. And we will, and I will, and I know I will. They could make a really bad the last Samus game nobody liked, but I'm still probably going to buy it when they bring one out.
Talking about other end?
Yeah, we liked it, but most people didn't like it, and I'm still going to buy it. And I don't feel we have any recompense.
It's not even companies that. It's not just companies that own our childhood, like the Nintendos and stuff like that. But it's also like
around.
I'm say Blizzard.
Yeah, Blizzard.
What Blizzard does is fucking crazy.
Yeah, Blizzard makes so much money. I don't know. Maybe most people don't care anymore, but if anybody stops and sits back and thinks about how much money they bring in with WoW, even now, even after the subscription has dipped down to below whatever it is now, 10 million, 5 million people, multiply that times $15 a month, and even just presume everybody has one account, because some people have multiple accounts. That is a cock ton of money. A cock ton of money.
A friend of mine in the Air Force actually went through it. It came up to like $1 billion over like 4 years or something like that. Now, like just an for a fucking video game.
That they're not even doing that much active production.
Oh,
Nope.
But have you ever seen Blizzard? I got the opportunity one time to go onto Blizzard campus, and it is huge. It's like Arizona State University. It's giant. They have everything there. They have tons of people, and I have no idea what any of them are doing. Because
not
they
producing games in a
they
timely
had
manner.
3 fucking games at that time that they were making, and one was StarCraft 2, which had been coming out forever. One was Diablo 3, which had been coming out forever. Another one was World of Warcraft, which had one team that did updates and one team that was kind of thinking about it. I think this was before Mists of Pandaria.
Okay.
So they had one team that was working on
Mists
Mists of
of
Pandaria, but that stuff is 90% just making new. I don't want to say just, I know it's hard, but making new character models and stuff like that, adding new worlds and stuff like that. A lot of the tools for them to generate content has already been made.
Right. So it's
So-
not like they're breaking their back or breaking new ground.
Yeah, and on top of that, even when they had an opportunity to do something for some of the other gamers that are out there, Ghost never happened. What was it, Project Titan, is that what it was called? The one that got turned into the new FPS that they just announced?
I think it was called Titan.
Okay, so that was, from what I was told, originally supposed to be they were going to make World of Warcraft 2. So they made an engine for it and all kinds of other stuff. And then they decided, it'll just be easier to basically redo the character models. So now they're just redoing the character models, not rewriting anything. And you're going to have new character models with the expansion that just came out. There you go. We'd like another $250 million a year, thanks.
Thanks.
And that's, I don't know, I find that's massively disrespectful, but I don't know what we're supposed to do about it. Like, if I sent out and said to everybody, hey, this game sucked, Assassin's Creed Unity kind of sucked when it came out. I know they fixed a bunch of stuff, and that's great, but when Victory comes out next year, nobody pre-order it, and nobody buy it for a month, and we'll send out their message that says, this is what happens when you don't produce games of high quality instead of shipping them out once a year to get into the fiscal cycle and then just telling people thanks for their money. I just don't think anybody would do it.
I think some people would drop out, but there's always going to be those guys. I know there's a guy I work with. He always purchases all like the collector's editions, and you know what I'm talking about for all these. So he has like a shelf of just like hidden blades and little extra trinkets. I mean, there's collector's editions, anniversary editions. They're even more money for the same broken content. You're paying $120 now. They're twice as much for the same broken content and a little metal or something. They're just money grabbing. It's not even just Assassin's Creed. And I looked into this because I was looking into what's the point of getting like a collector's edition of a game anymore.
Right.
and I was using Kingdom Hearts 2.5 as an example, and basically you don't get any additional in-game content. But there's a anniversary edition that you can get from SquareSoft only at their website, and they have a limited amount, and they're done. You can get like an extra music CD or something.
Right.
So.
And they create exclusivity. It's not like they couldn't
exactly.
It's not like they couldn't say, "Hey, pre-order this online, and we'll make one for every person who orders it." They say, "Okay, well, we're going to force this to cost a lot more. We'll only make 500 of them, and then you guys have bragging rights to each other." Like creating artificial bragging rights about things that don't need that kind of help.
That actually don't make your game
No.
a better game. And that's what we should be focused on. Like, is what am I getting for my money experience-wise? That's what matters. Is my experience going to be worth the
I feel
amount
like
of money?
they've really tapped into what it means to be like a gamer or a nerd, because we love that shit.
Yeah.
Like bragging rights. This is why we try to strive for the highest score possible in a time when high scores kind of don't fucking matter at this point.
Right.
Yep.
But it matters to the people who it matters to, and then so you release only 500 copies of a fucking vinyl disc of a soundtrack that wasn't all that great to begin with.
Right. It doesn't matter because it's got a logo on it, and you can say only you have it.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
Like, man, I'm gonna buy a fucking.
It's definitely tapping
turntable
into
for this.
It's definitely tapping into a particular type of mentality. I mean, if you look at how most MMOs are run in general, the way that they make money is by trying to elongate out the content as long as possible. I'm not even sure that they really need to do that, to be honest with you, because a lot of the data that I've read about, I was having a conversation with somebody the other day about how they have to do that because if not, people stop paying. And actually, leading into what we were talking about or not leading to, but going into what we were talking about with money, most MMOs, people will continue to pay for them even when they stop playing them. Because it is somehow less of a pain in the ass to go online and hit a cancel button than it is to just leave it going.
Yep.
I did that with World of Warcraft. When I stopped playing World of Warcraft, I think I paid for it for a good 9 months before I finally was like, I might as well just cancel this. But it took a long time.
And then there's the attachment factor too.
Yeah. What if I want to go back? What if I want to play it? Well,
Exactly.
There's so much attachment that you get, especially if it's a game that you played, for 40 hours, or not for 40 hours, but for days, for weeks, for months or whatever. How long World of Warcraft has been out?
Yeah.
And then to just kind of cancel your subscription and see your character go goodbye.
Yeah.
And to think, well, maybe they're going to put out a 2.
Right.
Maybe I can port that character over. I kind of want to keep it because I put a lot of effort into that character.
Yeah.
And you don't leave, a game like World of Warcraft, most of the people that I talk to, I never played it, but I've talked to a lot of people. I know a lot of people, I know you guys, who played it extensively. They don't leave the game because they're pissed off at something or they're just sick of the game. They're just kind of petered out, or they had found something else that they would
Right.
rather do, but they want to return to it.
Right.
And I know a friend of ours, he returns to it all the time. He goes and he plays the new one, the new MMO that comes out, tries it out for a little while, goes back to WoW.
Right.
And so it just helps foster that well, they're going to be fucking playing
Yeah.
for as long as we want them to play. No matter.
Doesn't matter what we do at this point.
Right.
And it's so outside the realm of how capitalism in general is supposed to work.
Exactly.
I mean, we're supposed to be able to hold people accountable for the types of things that they have, and no one's going to do it. We could make Blizzard do some really awesome stuff if everybody canceled their subscriptions tomorrow.
They have the capability to do it, too.
We could just all of a sudden drop, and the like $50 million or more a month at least that they're making on this would go away, and someone would say, "What happened?
Where did we go wrong?
Where did we go wrong?" But we live in a society where people, I don't want to say we care enough or whatever, or it's not even just our culture, I would say it's probably human culture, at least in the United States in general, where if you're too comfortable to care, you'd rather just take it in the ass than ask somebody to use some lube.
Right.
So.
Well, I mean, the number of fucked up things that you hear about Walmart, people still shop at Walmart.
Oh, yeah.
That's true. And this being a form of
I, for one,
entertainment,
try not to, but.
it's almost the whole entertainment industry. There's lots of just terrible movies that keep coming out, sequel after sequel. People keep watching them. But eventually those seem to taper off.
Fast and the Furious 7?
Eventually.
Transformers.
Eventually.
Transformers?
Eventually.
Star Wars.
Are there any other Saw movies?
Star Wars.
Are there any other
Star Wars? Yeah, Star Wars. I will go and see that movie on the opening fucking night, but I understand what's happening to me.
Can I put some Jar Jar Binks in that ass with you?
Yeah.
Misa, people gonna die.
Oh god.
I watched The Last Starfighter last night, and I wouldn't change a thing.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is, when it comes to the motion picture industry, it seems more common for things to die off eventually. Saw, for instance.
Eventually
Saw is
people will
still
stop.
going.
Is it really?
Still going.
When they make another one?
They
Paranormal Activity.
re-released.
Something that was good for one movie. I mean, good for maybe like 15 minutes
Good
of the
for
first
some
movie.
people, yeah.
But better than the later product. To
I
say
mean,
the
it was fun to watch
They
the
get
first
more
time. I was
money
like,
and
hey, this
stuff,
is
yeah.
great. They did so much with so little. But then they're like, a second one, okay, well, let's see. Oh, it's basically the same thing. Oh, the third one's basically the same fucking thing. Oh, the fourth one is...
Which one's the one that's coming out where it was
Why do I
about
keep
like
watching
it was
this?
about like the ghetto and there was a bunch of Hispanics and stuff and it was Paranormal Activity, but it was about like
Blood In, Blood Out.
yeah. And
Paranormal Activity,
Paranormal
American Me.
Activity.
I was like, what? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I know.
I don't remember what it
like
was
the
called.
honored one or the cursed ones or something.
Yeah, and I was like,
cares?
what the hell is... Now they're just using the name. They're like, people like American... We'll
What
just
are
call it
they?
Paranormal Activity. What are
That
they?
guy's got a demon in him, man.
Oh, yeah! It was-
Santa Maria.
Ah.
Offending so many Hispanics who've done nothing to us.
We have
I
a Hispanic
didn't
here,
watch that
so
and
he
think, like,
started
oh,
that
well,
shit, not us.
I'm glad my culture is going to be well represented.
But my point is, with all this going on, there's got to be, well, a point I would like to make is that there's got to be a flip side. There has to be companies out there who are making games that aren't fucking you, that are giving you a long, drawn-out process to give you a final product that's well worth the wait and worth your money.
You're right. Let's think of one.
Telltale Games. So far. If they fuck up on this Game of Thrones one, then, you know, I might be out. I think indie games are kind of where it's at. That's why I haven't played
Well,
any.
you love indie games, though. That's
Well,
a bit
to
biased.
be
why-
fair, indie games aren't in the position to fuck people in the ass yet.
Yeah,
Like,
they don't
they're-
have a huge following.
Their fist is like this big,
Yeah,
so they have to
Gamergators, calm down. Indie games are not going to fucking destroy the game industry.
You should clarify
Moving
that.
on.
No.
Oh, yeah.
Clarify what you mean. It's not indie games. You're talking about. You're talking about indie games. You're talking about reviews on indie games.
Anything to do with indie games is not indicative of the fucking gaming industry.
Toasty.
The gaming industry is going to do what
Toasty.
the gaming
I don't know
industry
if
is
that
going
was
to
the
do.
right thing to
Blizzard
say.
does what Blizzard's going to do, and indie games has nothing to fucking do with it. So stop focusing on fucking indie games. Go over to Blizzard. Go over to EA.
Yeah.
Tell them to stop making Assassin's Creed that isn't fucking finished and putting it out there. Tell them to stop making the same Call of Duty game every single fucking time. And maybe
Vote with your
even
dollars, for God's
stop
sake.
updating just Madden 04 and keep buying that shit. FIFA, it's the same fucking
We
game
were-
every year with updated roster. Just
So
have
it-
the DLC.
You say that,
I
but
feel
so
like
we
there's
were.
not a lot of room to grow when we're talking about sports games. Sports simulation games, though, what are they going to do?
It's really
They'll
just
look-
updating the stats every year.
Yeah.
When we get together on Wednesdays to talk about the content we want to talk to about this stuff, and we go to a local pizza place, and there was a waitress there. We asked her what she liked, and she basically said, Nintendo and Madden. So
Yeah.
as long as they keep bringing out Madden, people like her. Nothing wrong with her; she's very nice, but people like her are going to buy it, and that's part of the problem too, right? Is that video gamers are such a cross section now that it's not even just the nerds. Even if we got all the nerds on the internet to get together and say, fuck you, we're not buying any more Maddens until you come up with something that's way cooler, all the regular people are still going to buy it.
It's true.
How do you
Kevin Hart
mobilize?
is in the commercial for
But
Christ's sake.
I feel like you can take the formula and you can tweak it a little bit to make it interesting. Like I would point to the Super Mario series, where they moved into 3D. Okay, well we got 3D games, but then they did Mario Sunshine. They added a little bit of a different element to it, and then they added Galaxy was fucking.
So
Did
you wanted
ever-
to play football on like a sphere?
Not necessarily play on a sphere or anything like that, but there's ways to tweak the formula that you have to make the game
I
interesting
kind of
and
agree
make it
with him.
worth it.
I think football has almost hit the epoch of where you could get any better. So let's take one. Let's take Madden. Like, what would you do?
I got an idea, but go ahead.
Okay.
No, finish your question. Go
What
ahead.
would you do to make Madden not Madden and make it worth buying it? To make it, industry new and, not lazy story writing.
The last Madden I played was in 04, but let's see what you got to say.
Here is an idea that would probably not work, but it's an idea, Madden players. In some games, like Battlefield, everyone that you play against is a real player, and you all run around and shoot each other.
That could be.
What if you did that with the Madden game? I mean, you'd have a very specific job, and you'd do your job, kind of like an RPG. You play your role or what have you. If you don't do your job, someone can get through and tackle your other words that I don't understand from sports. But you get where I'm going with this.
Taco, you're a
I'm
guy.
just
What
saying,
if
this
you
isn't
did
the best
Captain.
idea in the world. I don't work for Madden, but let's do something.
My thought there though was I was like, what? Okay, so how would you do anything? Because there's people who like run up and grab each other,
Yeah,
and block,
blockers.
and there's people who run around and receive.
Yep.
So what would you just move your character to the right place and it would tell you about where it's supposed to be? But then I was thinking, what if you did it using like camera technology?
Mm-hmm.
So a person's standing in front of the TV and they put their hands up and it calculates the trajectory of where the person threw the ball.
That'd
And
be
they
cool.
actually have to. And then why don't you just fucking go outside and play football?
That's right.
That's right.
Even though I'm not going to do it, you better get your butt outside. Get
I was
some
just
exercise.
thinking, I was like, what if we could take all the parts of football and we could do it in front of a TV?
Or
Or
you
you could just go
play.
outside.
Play.
Yeah, I mean, I hate to be the person that says that, but at some point, like our full ability to get the experience inside the house is why are we avoiding going outside? I guess if you're friends, you want to play football with somebody, let's play touch football, and you live in New York and I live in the U.S. Maybe that's cool, but
I don't think any
All I'm
of us really
saying is,
understands sports games.
Yeah, we're not sports gamers, so maybe that wasn't the best example to go with. Let's choose something we all love that could use some innovation.
Mega Man Soccer.
See?
Oh man, don't get me wrong.
Super
it's
Mario
fun.
Golf.
Fun, both fun, both fun, both fun.
Woo-hoo.
Okay, but there
I
are.
actually would like to see a new Mega Man Soccer game. That was bad.
I would like to have companies just listen to their consumers a little bit closer. That's all. Square Enix. I don't even like Final Fantasy VII. I think it was very, very bland and not that entertaining and kind of droll. Yeah, lean away.
I
But
didn't
hey,
play the game, and I don't think that.
you know what your consumers want though? They want it. Yeah, it was
Man.
droll.
How was it
It
droll?
was so lame.
I just
Playing
I
that
want to
to
be
so
able
lame.
to play
I did not
against
like Final
Sephiroth
Fantasy.
and put on Knights of the Round 4 times,
Oh my
and then
God.
put the game controller down and go like,
I just want to
wife
play a
with
game
woman,
with a
have
more
a couple kids.
understanding
It took a
or
long
understandable
time.
main
Raise them
character
to the
with a more
third grade,
interesting
and then
plot
come
that you
back
don't
and
need
be
to
like,
read the
"I'm still
expanded
going."
universe comics to understand. I'm just saying, I may not
It's one of my
personally enjoy it,
fondest
but your fans, they want an HD remake of that game, full on. Redo it, top to bottom.
Don't worry about actually making a new one. Make
They
up more
did it for
excuses. Don't
fucking-
bother.
Yeah, I mean that would
Resident Evil.
Resident
the
Evil
original-
0
I feel like
and Resident
Resident-
Evil 1 remakes were
I
amazing.
They
I
were
still feel like
amazing.
Resident Evil might
Resident
be
Evil
dead
was-
anyways. I feel like they've been putting out garbage since 6.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
well, they're
I think-
trying. Like I hear
I
that
feel
the
like
new
they are. Like they keep, like I said, keep changing up the format a little
Right.
bit, moving into new territory.
problem
putting in
with
new
them
things.
is that they're doing with Resident Evil what Final Fantasy does, and it works, I think, for Square Enix because every Final Fantasy is different. It's the Final Fantasy of that world.
Yeah.
Resident Evil is the same world, and you keep fucking changing up how it works. You can't do that with the storyline because it doesn't feel like it's the
Retcon.
same.
There was a new virus that we got this
No.
virus that came from this
only
virus.
affects the Africans.
The protovirus.
We
is
call it the
actually-
A virus, the AIDS virus. Well,
just gay zombies.
just
gay zombies.
Just the gay zombies.
In
They're
this
very well
universe-
dressed and in great shape. They're in great shape, so they're a little stronger and tougher than the original zombies. They look great.
They eat less McDonald's.
They're
on
being led by
average.
Akon.
That's right. Oh my god. Some of them only eat meat. Others will only come out on Taco Tuesday. They've
That's
been
the
affected
problem.
by the
Taco
D
Tuesday.
virus, the DYK.
From what I hear
virus.
about 7, they're kind of going back to the drawing board and they're thinking about just rebooting the thing entirely. And I think if they do that, it might be a good idea. I'm cool with a reboot. The first one was fantastic. But my suggestion would be do it the classic way where it was hard to control. I know that sounds really weird, but a
Really
little
does
hard to
sound weird.
control. Your character, you had to turn it
Survival
around. It
horror.
wasn't, like more of a survival horror, Silent Hill kind of limited ammo, and do that as Resident Evil 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then when it comes to wanting those other games, make those other games. They did that with the Resident Evil Chronicles, right? They were shoot 'em ups. Did you ever play those?
You ever play the Mercenaries game?
Yeah. So
you know where they made their own side game of all the mercenaries mashed up
Yeah,
into
yeah,
one?
yeah.
I wish they would have released that for PlayStation. Man.
And I mean, and I don't have a problem with any of that
I
stuff.
love
like,
Mercenary mode.
Resident Evil Online was interesting. I played that for a while. I don't think it was the best game, but it was interesting. I like the Chronicles games where you're playing basically an FPS. Like they had a couple where it was a shoot 'em up, like Time Crisis.
Yep,
They did some
those are
interesting
fun.
stuff.
They're fun,
but
but
you
not
don't
great.
need to swap up the main vein, as it were, the main vein.
Vein.
Like
I don't think it's wrong for you want to for you to want to revisit that universe, especially if you play, Resident Evil 1, Resident Evil 2. Takes place in a mansion, takes place in Raccoon City. You want to see that there's a wider world out there, that there's other shit going on.
Sure.
Like, even if you were a fan of the Hunger Games, all that takes place in the United States.
Right.
What's happening in Europe and stuff like that. You
Sure.
might want to come and revisit Harry Potter, would be the same kind of thing.
Sure.
It's not wrong to want to revisit that, and I think the writers can make new stories that are interesting with that, but just rehashing the same shit, like, you just need to come up with new things in order to make it interesting and not too crazy.
It's almost like the left hand and the right hand don't know what each other are doing.
Yes.
So, like, you've got people who are coming up with the approach to how the game's supposed to play, and then you've got people who are coming up with the approach of how the storyline is going. And the video game designers for the gameplay were like, people don't like survival horror as much. They like shoot 'em up stuff. So starting with 4, they turned it into this fucking shooting gallery. I like 4, but everything from 4 on is super easy. It's super easy. Anybody who played any other ones, you basically have unlimited ammo.
I don't know, dude. Well, I've played them on the harder settings.
So have I. I beat them on the hardest. I have completed every part of all of them. All the
Very,
way through the
very
100%.
much more satisfying in the harder settings, if you ask me. But go ahead.
Yeah, but I mean, there's
Yeah.
something about, well, and then they changed it because people were complaining about it was too easy. So in 6, I don't remember about 5, but in 6, they put in the. Oh, wait a minute. Am I getting it mixed up? 6 is the one the last one that was out, right?
The last major title with like Leon and stuff, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, where they had like everybody in it.
Yeah.
Where they went back to having the defensive weapon system where you couldn't just kick every zombie away. Now, I never understood that, and I don't necessarily think that's a great thing. I liked it for that I could basically just spin kick the zombies out of the way, because I was like, why is it I can't defend myself from a zombie if I run out of knives and I leave them? Then I don't really understand that mechanic.
Oh, you mean when you stab one, it stays in there?
Yeah, that's how in 6 there was,
Yeah,
you could
there's
only
that.
knock them back so many times, but in 4 they got rid of the defensive mechanism thing. So when they did the remake, it used to be there wasn't any. Like, you got hit and you just took damage, and then eventually you knocked them off and you didn't have time, so you were done. And then when they made 1 and 0, they gave you these optional pickups where you could get defensive weapons, and it was either like a stun gun battery for Rebecca, or it was a combat knife, and you would stab it in there, and then you would knock them off you. What was it? Chris's? Would you stick a grenade in their mouth and stick them away and
Because he's a
blow their head off?
badass. Chris Redfield. I've got like 4,500 grenades. Bring it on.
Hammerspace.
Yeah, just pulled him right out of his ass because he's actually gay.
Is he actually gay?
No, I don't know. I don't think so, but he very well could
Next
be,
time.
because he's constantly surrounded by hot chicks who can whoop ass and kill zombies.
He's like, I'm not interested in that. I'm
all I
interested
get
in
is save the
killing
world.
You save the world and look at your butt later.
Yeah, that's kind of how I've always taken Chris Redfield.
He's waiting for the president's daughter to get older.
Man,
Oh
did
my
you see
God.
the most recent Resident Evil movie when they had Chris Redfield in it?
Yeah, I
In the
did.
airport?
Oh my
And
god.
it was no, not the animated one.
No, the
actual
full
one.
live. He was in a
Full
live action movie.
He was the dude that was from Jailbreak or Prison Break or whatever.
Yeah, he
Guy
was.
from Prison Break, and I was like, man, like the way that they
Oh my
played out the
God.
characters they added a pepper. Oh god, I fucking hate the Resident Evil movies.
They're
Oh
so bad.
my god, I will admit that I keep
The Mia
watching them.
Jovovich movie?
I keep watching them.
I keep watching them because they're such a fucking train wreck. But I
They
tell people
are.
they are not Resident Evil movies.
Yeah,
Just
they're not.
stop.
Resident.
They're
Mila
zombies.
Jovovich titty bitch.
She loves
However,
it.
Wesker was in it.
That doesn't make
Horribly.
it. That doesn't make it a
He
Resident Evil
looked
movie.
exactly like Wesker.
But he
though.
didn't act
He didn't
exactly
act
like
anything
Wesker at
like
all.
Wesker. Wesker is way more cool of a character. Like,
Yes.
He
yes.
is the cool as a fucking cucumber. He is the Benedict Cumberbatch of fucking.
Remember when you actually defeated Wesker? And,
Yeah, finally, you had
was
to
it
like
in 5?
shove a rocket directly in his
Or 4?
ass to kill him.
Was it in 4?
No, you played. It was 5. It was 5 because you played as Chris.
That's right. That's right. Man, and you gotta like melee him and stuff.
Yeah, you had to like go down into like it was big. You would like it. It was
Oh
proper
my God.
storytelling.
You
You,
would-
had to go down into a volcano, and you had to like fist fight a fucking monster, and then in the end, you basically took a rocket and shoved it directly in his asshole.
You know you can stab away at the heart if you're using Sheva.
Yeah.
Stab
so-
him in the heart.
Well, and before that, the whole rocket you have to
It
get.
should be important to be pointed out that at the end of Resident Evil 5, which we talked about last week, for those of you who managed your way through,
Yeah,
the
thanks
bad
for
guy
that.
was a white dude.
Yep. Because white people are evil.
And they
Just
want to
wanna
release
point that out.
viruses on
They-
them.
That was actually the point. Again, what Terry was saying last week. At the end, it was Wesker, a white dude who went to Africa and released this horrible fucking thing on them, and that's what caused it.
Yeah.
So
you were.
But that just reinforces the general idea, or I should say
I
the
got
theory,
off topic.
that white people are evil. But we'll get back to that in another
Did
conversation.
a white person stop him
With the...
Oh, well, it depends if you play Shiva or not.
with
Yeah,
a
you
rocket
played-
launcher?
She could have stopped him with a bow and arrow,
Oh,
or
yeah.
perhaps a spear.
Or perhaps that little knife that was on her hip that she couldn't really use. It was there.
I usually played Shiva actually.
I played Chris because I played it with my girlfriend the first time the whole way through, and she wanted to be the girl. So
Makes sense.
didn't bother me either way. I would have played.
We'll get
Shadow.
back to racism on another thing.
Yeah.
I apologize for last week, by the way.
Yeah.
We're experimenting with our studio and trying to get things working, and we had a couple of sound issues with it. So for those of you who made it to the last 15 minutes, it was a great gem in there.
Oh yeah.
Definitely go back and
We did
watch
the
that.
voices on the last
Oh,
15
yeah, we did
minutes.
some
That was
really
great.
racist shit at the
If
end.
you
Yeah.
did watch it though, thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you very
Thanks for
much.
sticking with us.
Yeah, we're getting better each
We're
time.
definitely trying.
Oh, I do have a question. Since we're talking about companies that are giving it to us in the rear, do you feel like Konami's doing that with the Metal Gear series? Feel like they're just pumping out more crap, or where to keep buying it? I'm just wondering from you guys, because you know what, it is kind of the same experience every
But it's
single
all
time.
Hideo Kojima, right?
And it's, you know what, it's never.
Yeah, I look. I can't say Konami.
Okay, you just want to say Hideo?
Like you can't
Yeah.
say it physically, literally.
Konami.
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 Hi, Konami desu.
Oh, Konami.
Konami des.
Because I don't think they've done that with the Castlevania series. I don't have a lot of complaints about Castlevania.
Have you ever played a Metal Gear game that you thought was not complete when it was released, or it was subpar to the series?
No, I don't. I
Or
just
a
think he
rehash
trolls
of the
people.
old game. I think he does too.
I love it. I love you, Hideo Kojima. Hideo Kojima, if you're ever watching this, I love you, man. You do a great job. Everything you've ever done, even the trolling, I'm on board.
He does.
You could literally walk in my house and murder my mother right in front of me, and I'd be like, he made Metal Gear. Stay away from him. He's a great guy.
He would.
I love you, Hideo Kojima.
I don't know about this next one though. I'm a little like.
Oh, yeah. Don't
there's
you feel that way before each one, though? That little apprehension? Like, what the fuck are they doing now?
I mean, like I liked 4, but
But before it came out, where you weren't like, what the fuck, right?
I am, and 4 I would honestly say is probably not my favorite one.
Nope.
Like, and that's fine. I think it's still a good game. But I kind of feel like the storyline, not even the gameplay, but the storyline's kind of gone off in a fucking direction where I think maybe they did it too much, and I'm kind of personally getting sick and tired of learning about Old Snake. Like, I'm starting to not care anymore.
Well, you know, this one won't be about Old Snake, though.
I'm just saying, I'm starting to not care.
It's starting to not matter what it's about anymore.
I kind of want them to take the whole universe and close it off and put it over there and start a new Metal Gear.
What about a reboot?
No
Right.
reboots.
I would like
No
a reboot.
reboots?
I don't want to
You
reboot.
know, and on an interesting side note there, Judge Dredd has been going on since he was incepted back in the 80s.
In
The
comic
comics
book form?
happen in real time, so now he's just as old as he would be if he had aged normally at the time. So, I don't know. I don't know if that means anything for Snake.
No.
Maybe they could keep him going. He
No.
looks old as shit, though.
I'm
You
okay-
don't even know.
You don't even know.
I don't even know.
You don't even know.
You don't even?
They fucking brrrr that shit, and you don't know what snake it is. And
Well, the Metal Gear timeline starts like this in the 1800s, and then goes like.
Timey-wimey, wibbly-wobbly.
yeah, it goes all.
And these are like each game, like then this happened in the game, and then a bunch of crazy other. Then you played the game, and then all it's like you force it back.
Ships crossing in the night. It's some
It
weird
really,
shit.
ships crossing in the night should be the name of the game.
I don't, and that's the thing. I
Should be all
don't think
fucked
they've never released a game I thought was unfinished ever. So
My
that
opinion, yeah.
about this particular topic, there's that. But on the question, I feel like they're bandwagoning a little bit just on this new one because everybody's doing open world stuff, and I didn't really think about it until I was like, wow, like every game, we talked about Zelda,
Yep.
fucking Metal Gear, and all these other games, and they're all open world, and I guess all I can say is people must like that. But when I play those games, I don't want to spend a lot of time like rummaging around. This one's in the desert. It looks like outside our window.
Yep.
I'm not gonna go wandering around the Arizona desert for 6 hours for fun. I'm not gonna do it. Like,
I knew if they played the Metal Gear Solid 3 theme in the background.
no, maybe for 5 minutes. I don't know what we're doing. Are we
We're playing
boning?
Metal Gear 5 right now. This is what it's like.
Oh, okay. It's all in order.
like,
Here You mean Red Dead? You mean Red Dead Redemption 2, starring Solid Snake?
I'll play that. I won't play the first one.
That's pretty much what it is.
Oh my god,
There's-
play the shit out of that.
there's
I will
probably
never play
about
the first
same
Red Dead
amount.
Redemption game.
Probably
I'll
about
never
the
play
same. Red Dead
The
Revolver.
first one?
I'll
Like
never
Red Dead
play.
Revolver?
I'll never play either one of those. Just to mess with Eric and my friend in Virginia. What's
What
up,
if I
buddy?
play
Thanks for
Fooly-
watching.
What if I watch Fooly Cooley? And
I'll
then I
watch
write-
7 if you watch Fooly Cooley.
The movie 7?
Yeah, I haven't seen 7.
But 7's like a good movie. Like,
I know,
you're
I
gonna-
really wanna
that's
see
not
it.
Really,
I
that's
really
not
want
an
to see it.
equal-
I really
that's
want
not
to see
Toka
it.
Coka.
But it's
That's
just
not-
to mess with him, though. I don't. You know what, guys? Guess what, Internet? I actually, to this day, don't know what's in the box. I don't know.
This is a very lovely, vibrating house.
I don't get that. I don't get that reference.
Man!
Sorry.
God.
Sorry.
Tell the
I watched
internet.
that movie over Showgirls when I was a teenager.
What are we still talking about?
I'm sorry. We got off on.
Anyways.
Sorry, we got off on a tangent.
Showgirls.
Sorry. That's me and Eric.
That
That's
movie was
me and Eric.
fucking terrible.
All right, so I mean, I think
Lazy sword.
I think either way, video game industry, get your act together. Get your act together. Everybody else, get your act together and stop buying shit games. I know you're not going
Seriously,
to, but that's
stop
really
buying them.
that's really all we could really do and ask for.
Yeah.
So
Stop fucking us. Stop getting fucked.
Here's
stop
the thing,
fucking
it might even be to a certain point, and I don't want to keep going backwards, in a circle, but
He loves to go in a circle.
stop pre-ordering games.
yeah, I agree.
Stop pre-ordering games,
Yeah.
or if you pre-order them, wait a couple days after they come out and see what's happened, and then you can go over and pick them up for the $5 that you still owe on it. But
Watch buying those digital games. You can buy them anytime. If you're gonna buy a digital game, don't pre-order. Digital, buy it after it comes out. Everybody's played it. Give everybody an opportunity to tell you how it is. Try it out yourself.
yes.
Absolutely. All right, thanks guys. We'll see you next week. Hope everybody has a great time, and thanks for coming to GlitchSlap.
Boom.